We have more now on the flooding situation in British Columbia. The cleanup continues as that province deals with another atmospheric river. It's not expected to be as bad as the first one, but officials warned residents to prepare for heavy rain and strong winds. Meanwhile, many are now asking whether better forecasting might have been possible prior to the first storm last week. To break that down a bit more, joining us now is CTV science and technology specialist Dan Riskin. Dan, for some it may have seemed like that weather came out of nowhere. Is there a sense of what made it so intense?
Yeah, so that atmospheric river term that you're throwing around now and that everybody's becoming familiar with is something that is not new. It's not something that's never happened before. In fact, on an average year, somewhere between 30 and 50% of the rain that falls on the west coast of North America comes in these atmospheric rivers, where you have this band of moist air, of basically vapor that is moving across the ocean in it looks like a river. It's a couple 100 kilometers wide, and it's just powering towards the shore, thousands of kilometers long. And, you know, one of those bands can carry the equivalent of the Mississippi River of water in terms of how much is coming out at the front of it. And so when that reaches land, it can be pretty significant. It just hasn't hit here in that magnitude before. And so all of a sudden it's on everybody's weather radar, so to speak, and everybody's talking about these events and whether we can predict them better in the future.
That'll be key to avoiding another mess. Well, what about forecasting? Could meteorologists have given more warning here? You wonder what anybody could have done.
Right. Well, so traditional forecasts, the ones that we're using right now, are fabulous. They work really well when you're looking at one small area or even just a patch of small areas. Basically, the way it works is they take the pressure and they take the temperature and the rainfall and all those different things in different areas, and then they feed them into a model to try to figure out how those would move. So, you know, if you have an area of high pressure and you have an area of low pressure, things are going to go from high pressure to low pressure. That makes sense. And so you play it forward almost using like a video game type system to try to understand by knowing all the physics of the little parts, you can see how it changes. There's a new technique that just got published in a big scientific journal this week, which looks at something called network-based forecasting, which is a totally different approach. What you do is, instead of trying to understand all the parts and how they connect to each other, you take a bunch of measurements at different places all over the world, and then you look at how those change over time and try to understand connections among them. And you don't try to do this by hand. You have artificial intelligent computers do that number crunching for you. And using this method, researchers say that they can now predict if they're going to have a drought in the Amazon a year before it happens, or they can predict the monsoons in India rather than 5 days before they happen, 40 days before they happen. And so this technology hasn't been applied to the west coast of North America yet for places like the Fraser Valley, but presumably that technology is now another tool which could give us more warning so people could be moving their things to higher ground.
Definitely something to consider. Now, scientists have told us storms like this one are going to become more and more frequent with climate change. Do you think that's going to have an impact on politics? Because you need leaders who have an appetite to make some big, often expensive decisions. You also need the electorate to be wanting that as well.
You know what, these big changes in climate, although this is the magnitude of what's happening globally right now and the human cause of it is unprecedented, there are changes in climate if you go back through time. And actually, there's a new study that just came out looking at the last 2,000 years and looking at volcanic activity and how that correlates to regime changes in China. So different dynasties are toppling every once in a while. So they had a look to see whether the timing of volcanic events, and when there's a volcano, there's, you know, a cloud that sort of covers the earth, and so crops aren't as not as much food comes out in those years. Does that correlate with dynasties ending? And they found that it does. When there's a big volcano, whatever dynasty is in power is more likely to be toppled, and something else comes in its place. This is especially true if there's a war going on. But it's a sobering reminder to politicians that they need to take action, because when things like this sort of hit the ground, I think people realize they need a leader that's going to address these issues.
So many lives are impacted. CTV's science and technology specialist Dan Riskin. Lots to think about. Thank you.
Thank you so much.